Hi, it's Rana, and today I have a layout for Scraptember Day 3, and it is mixed media. And I'm also participating with Sarah Scraps and the 2025 School Hop. This is some pictures of my grandson, and he is starting preschool. He actually went to preschool last year as well, but because his birthday is in October, he will be doing preschool for 2 years. So I'm using the Simple Stories, what is the name of this one? Simple Stories School Life. And I've also pulled out a few other things. I have some pink fresh stars. I have some super old Studio Calico stars that are vellum. And I really like those. I have lots of scraps in this collection. I have used it quite a bit. And so I'm going to also play along with some more of that. Got all my tags cut out there. Actually, I think I still have another sheet of tags, but I've got quite a few there. I really wanted to use this frame, and so I'm going to cut it, and we're going to make that work. And I think it turned out really good. You can obviously tell that it was a frame that was cut apart, but it did its job. It worked out. I really like how it turned out. For my mixed media, I'm going to be doing some ink blending and also a little bit of stamping, and then of course I'll have some splatters as well. I am going to kind of fumble around a little bit with what I want because I hadn't really made any decisions before I started, other than that I wanted to use that piece of paper for my background and that frame, and that was it. So I am definitely going to, you're going to see every bit of the choice making here as I go through. I love these foam stickers. I don't know if everyone else does, and oddly enough there is a class act, which would have been great to be able to use that for the class act hop, but I am not. I had decided that I wanted my title to be Ready to Learn, and that foam sticker with Learn would have been perfect, except I went a different direction, and I'm going to use some smaller ones. That was just going to be too big for what I was trying to do. Since I had the exact number of pictures needed for this little collage on the Epson photo printer, I decided to leave it all together as a collage. I really like how that turned out. I've done that recently and I liked it, so I thought, well, I'm going to do that again. I was trying to come up with ink that matched my grandson's shirt, and so mixing these two colors, which I believe is Mermaid Lagoon and Speckled Egg, it gave me the right color that his shirt was. So you can see me, I'm just kind of mixing the two colors and then blending it on. I know you can put one color and then blend on the paper as well, but this worked out good for me. I thought it worked out and I liked it, and I really wasn't wanting the darker and lighter shades in there like you normally would get when you're ink blending. So I just wanted the one shade, and I wanted it to be the color that I wanted it to be, so that's why I mixed them like this. And I think it worked out pretty great. So I'm happy with that. Want to make sure that I have enough ink on here because I know I'm going to have quite a few layers in there as I do the frame and then a few embellishments and things, so I kind of added enough so that it was going to stand out far enough and it wouldn't all be covered up. So I just added some water to what I already had mixed up there, and added some small splatters with my fan brush, and they make tiny little splatters when you do that. And then I'm also going to come back in here and mix some more and use my bigger brush to get some larger splatters. And also when you do the splattering this way with the water added to this ink, you are going to get some reaction with what you've inked. So I like that look as well. So I splatter kind of extra farther into where I hadn't done the inking. And then I'm going to stamp right over some of that. And then I also, let it splatter right over top and kind of get that reaction that you get with the oxide. And I like how that looks. So I have my picture layered, and the picture is matted, by the way. I don't think I showed that on film. I took one of the 6x8 papers, and there was a nice diagonal stripe with all the colors from the collection, so I went ahead and used that to mat my photo block. And then I wanted to make sure I taped it down to the frame, besides just with the fun foam. So I used the little 1mm foam tape, and it served to attach it to the frame so that it couldn't wiggle. And then I'm also going to add this layer, which made it nice because it popped up just a little bit more than I normally do, but it was perfect for tucking things under. And then since I had the top part of the frame that was going to be under this, it worked out well. It was just, it could just slide right under the picture, and that worked well. So you can see that there, it just sliding right under. It's not going to cause any problems, with that adhesive on there. So then I wanted my tags to kind of be underneath and then cover up the end of that side of the frame. I didn't like how it looked, so I wanted to cover that up. Here I'm deciding, there's no way that learn is going to fit on here. It's going to take up too much space. So I'm going to go a different direction with that. But while I decide what I do want to do, I'm going to go with some things I already know I want to do. And I knew I wanted to have a couple of banners up here. As soon as I looked at the collection, I knew I wanted to have some banners. So I'm going to pull the sticker off and put it flat to the page, just using the adhesive from the sticker. And then I'll use the 1mm foam tape to pop up this other one that is from the die cuts. And I kind of just place that right over, right under the other sticker one, and it's going to be kind of hidden behind, the end will be hidden behind the tags, so you can't really see the end that way. And the other one is right by the edge. And I liked how that looked. Still kind of fussing around with those. I was thinking at one point that I might put my title on that tag, but then I wouldn't have any place for journaling. So I'm going to go a different route with that, and I have to stop the camera and then think about it. And I decided to go with a big circle. And I liked these stamps that I pulled out. I have no idea where they came from. Honestly, I may have gotten them at one of the scrapbook yard sales, or gotten them from a friend. I don't know. There was no brand on what I had. I didn't have the packaging, so I'm not really sure. It did not stamp as good as I wanted it to. I knew I would never be able to get it just perfect without using my press here, but it didn't do great. But I think it's because of the magnet in the middle. But since it's on a circle, I had to have the magnet to hold it in place, or I would never be able to double stamp. So I just moved the magnet around and got it to finish stamping all the way through, and it actually turned out great. That's the fun part of these little stamp machines here, because you can get it perfect just by keep messing with it. And it did end up being really nice. I liked how it turned out. So I got that part on the circle, and then I decided to take a couple of the other circles and add those in a few different places over my inking to add to the mixed media. And Sarah Scraps is always showing lots of stamping on her layouts. I like how that looks, and I don't pull mine out often enough, but since I had the one for the title piece, I thought I might as well use these other ones and add some in, and I'm really glad I did, because I really like what it added to the layout. So I add a couple more of the smallest circles, and those just went over where I had some extra splatters, and then I'm going to add an extra little embellishment cluster down where that bottom one is, that bottom little circle I stamped. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere the photo block there so that I can start laying things in and have it stuck down and make the final, choices where I want everything, because it's wiggling around too much and I'm ready for it to lay down. So I laid it down just kind of lightly so that I could tuck these tags under, and I'm going to end up having to cut a little bit off to make it fit in there nicely. And then the same with this one, I'll punch my hole so I can add some ribbon, twine, and I'm also going to cut it off so that it'll fit under there, because that fun foam does have a really sticky back. I popped this one up so that it would be above the frame, and then just over that other one, and then you can see there the circle that I'm going to use for my title. Oh, and that one I hadn't stuck down yet, but now that I know where my tags are, I'm going to be able to go ahead and just add that. So I left the journaling spot for my daughter to do, because she can talk about meeting his teacher, and then they went out for pizza and ice cream and played some games and things like that, just the two of them, if I'm correct. And I just want her to be able to journal that, because it's her story to tell, not mine. So I liked this blue, and it is the perfect color for his shirt, and it went with my inking and everything. So I found in the puffy stickers there was the word learn also, so I add that, and then I'm going to use these stamps to stamp the rest of the title that says ready, and I kind of lay them how I want them, and I know my E and D are going to kind of overlap a little bit, so I put the other three letters, made them stick to my block, inked those up, and then got them on there right where they needed to be to kind of line up with the word learn underneath. And then I just go in individually and put in the E and the D so that it'll be right where it needs to be, and it turned out really well. I just don't stamp on my layouts often enough, but I have tons and tons of stamps. I used to be more of a card maker than I was a scrapbooker before grandkids, and so I've got tons of stamps, and I just need to pull them out and use them more often. And I'm still buying them. I tell you, I don't stamp very often, but if there's a cute set like those circles at the scrapbook yard sale, I will pick them up, and they can add to my collection of stuff I never use. I don't know if anybody else does that. Let me know in the comments. But I do want to make an effort to use them more, because I really do like how this ended up turning out. And if it hadn't been for the scrap timber mixed media prompt, I might not have done it. And so I'm really happy that I played along with this, and I got them used. On this layout anyway, I hadn't used them at all before, and I don't even remember where I got them, so it's probably been a while. So I'm looking through the puffy stickers, and I want to add a few more puffy stickers. There's the flat stickers, and there's so many good ones, but I wanted to for sure add in a few more little phrases, so I'm kind of looking through for that. I found all smiles that I put under the picture of Hudson and his teacher, and then that blue one says let's do this, and it was the perfect color of blue, so I wanted that one on there for sure. So it ended up right there at the top of that picture. And I'm going to pull out one more, but I don't think I do it here. I wait until I get going with that cluster at the bottom, and then I'm going to add one more of those little phrases. So for these Pink Fresh, I pulled these out because when I was looking for my inks, I was just holding the pictures up and trying to find my inks, and I saw these stars from Pink Fresh that I've had forever, and I probably bought 4 or 5 of those stars, because at the time I only had grandsons, and you can use stars all the time, and I love those sketchy stars. But I had a few of these blue ones left, and they were the perfect color to match his shirt. It ended up the ink color that I blended myself, and these stars are absolutely perfect together, so I was really happy with how that turned out. Trying to decide how I want my twine. This black twine that I have is a little stiffer than regular baker's twine, and I couldn't really decide how I wanted it. It didn't look like looped all the way through was what I was going to go, loop through both of them and just kind of have them laying around. And I didn't like how it looks, so I add a bow on one and then just the regular little bit hanging out at the top of the other one. And I will go ahead and glue it down with some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, as I normally do. I cut the little strands on the bow pretty short, but I do go ahead and glue them down so that I can get them just how I want them. I'm very awkward when I tie my bows, so the ends never go where I want them to, so that's why I glue mine down. I like them to stay where I want them. It did the two tags did kind of cover most of the little circle that I stamped up there. You can just kind of see the top little bit of it, but it was kind of between the two, and it's still cute. I could have added a couple more stars. I might go back in and do that up there at the top as well, but right now I focused on 3 areas where the stars were, and that's probably enough. I didn't really need any up there. So I found some other stars to go with the puffy stars from Pink Fresh, and then I found a few things in yellow for each of the clusters. I found some die cut stars for the bottom one, the light bulb for the right one, and then over on the left I found a little banner that had the navy blue, red, and the word yay, and I liked that. I decided the Pink Fresh stickers were definitely going to come off. They were falling off already, so I knew they wouldn't last in my album, so I went ahead and used my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to glue those down as well. And here's where I remembered that I had pulled out the Studio Calico, and I love how they look over this alphabet background because you can see through them. It still adds the pop of color, but you could still see the background, and I thought that was a fun addition, so I added a red one and the darker color of blue from this collection in a couple of places in those tiny little stars, and I thought that was super fun. And then all I have left is to come back in with some black splatters. So this is a hop. Actually, there's 2 hops. The Scrap Timber is a hop with a playlist, and the School Hop from Sarah Scraps is a hop that all of the players are in the description box below. So you just hop along to each person. So you'll want to go through and do that and see what everybody did for their school photos. I will be back again very soon. There's the Smart is the New Cool on that bottom cluster. You'll want to check everybody else's school layouts out and mixed media layouts out, and I will be back again soon. I appreciate you so much for being here. We will talk to you later. Bye-bye.